A very good morning to you, and thanks for your time this morning. So it seems like there's some change that needs to be made to our law degree and how students actually go on to qualify for that. What's the problem at the moment?
Well, firstly, let me just correct you there. I'm the former co-chairperson of the Law Society of South Africa. But let me just say that over a number of years, the profession have noted a decrease in the quality of the students coming from the universities. And this was in particular after the law degree was changed from a postgraduate degree to an undergraduate degree comprising of 4 years. And it was noted that the essential lack of skills included numeracy and literacy in particular. And the Department of Higher Education then formed a committee a number of years ago, which initially included practicing attorneys as well. And they have been compiling this report over a number of years. They've now released that report. What I can say is that, unfortunately, over the last few years, the profession itself, the practicing profession, has not been included in the process. But we do, at this stage, stand by some of the suggestions that have been made, particularly improving numeracy and literacy skills, and then also possibly lengthening the degree back to the 5-year degree.
So, Walid, I'm just curious to know what's been happening in court, what's been happening with the way lawyers are fighting cases to raise such concerns, to raise these concerns. Has there been an impact in how they've been doing their job and what results they've been getting?
Well, let me tell you this. At Worksman's Attorneys, where I practice, I've been intimately involved in the interviews of students over the last few years. And what I can tell you is that over the last 5 to 10 years, we have had to put more into training the students to read and write properly, to draft, to think logically. This is primarily because of the lack of languages that they are doing at university and also the level of mathematics that they are coming through. So the amount of work we as the profession have to put in order to get these candidates ready to be admitted as an attorney has increased substantially over the last few years. We're talking about bright students who are getting A's at university, but who cannot write simple English letters or are unable to develop logical, critical, analytical thinking, which is essential to being an attorney.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. I mean, can you actually teach critical thinking? Is it not something that you would want to become a lawyer because you are able to do this? It's an innate ability, otherwise don't bother.
Look, what we found is, particularly with the type of candidates that we've been interviewing, that they are innately intelligent. They have the necessary intelligence to be able to learn and develop these skills quickly enough. They're just not being taught that sufficiently, either at secondary school level or at tertiary level. And it has now become incumbent. For example, the Law Society at the practical training schools have introduced compulsory literacy and numeracy courses. That is the extent to which the profession has come to the party in order to assist these young aspiring lawyers to enter the profession. What I can also say is that for most of these students, it doesn't take that long to bridge the gap. Within 6 to 12 months, we are able to get them back onto a level in order to function as an attorney in society. But obviously the ideal would be that the moment they walk into your law firm or into advocates' chambers or into the National Prosecuting Authority, they'd already be ready to learn the necessary legal, substantive law skills, and we don't have to teach them these basics.
Go back to basics. I see, Walid, that the report also raises concerns about large classes that might be contributing to this as well when it comes to critical thinking and making sure that they're well equipped with what they need to, like you say, when they walk into court and other areas. Is that an issue, and do you see that maybe you'd have to encourage fewer people to actually go out and study law? You have to be that person that's absolutely certain that you're made for this, or do we need to have universities have more classes too for those to obtain these degrees?
Look, it's a difficult question because we live in a country that has so much inequality. We encourage everyone to try and study in order to improve themselves. But the problem is the infrastructure and the capacity of the universities have not been increased. Let me give you an example. When I graduated from UWC in 1999, I think it was, my final year law class was, I think, 60, just under 60 graduates. Last year, I think it was about 350 final year law graduates at UWC. And it's a similar situation at the other universities across the country. Now, the universities don't want to send these students away, because often this is the only way they can improve themselves and uplift themselves out of the conditions that they are currently in. But the universities themselves need assistance to increase their capacities, bigger lecture theatres, more lecturers, more infrastructure to accommodate the large numbers coming through. And then, of course, the biggest problem is that once they graduate, unfortunately, the profession cannot absorb these numbers at the moment.
Yeah.
And you find the proliferation of a large amount of single practitioner law firms sprouting up across the country. And that also has other consequences going forward.
Okay, thanks very much for your time and just for that in-depth look at why there needs to be some change to that law degree here in the country. That's a former co-chair of the Law Society of South Africa, currently with Worksmen's Attorneys, Waleed Brown.